Office of Regulatory Counsel in California. For those involved in the California legislative process, everyone's familiar with the outstanding work that is done by the attorneys and the staff in the Office of Legislative Counsel, or OLC for short. For those who are not regularly involved in the regulatory arena, however, you may not be aware that there does not exist a similar office to assist executive branch state agencies. As a result, I think that there should be a newly created Office of Regulatory Counsel, or ORC as I call it, that would be housed in the governor's office, similar to a handful of other offices based in the governor's office, such as GoBiz, the Office of the Tribal Advisor, and others. The ORC would be similar to the Office of Legislative Counsel, which drafts legislation for the legislature and governor, but the ORC would play a similar role for executive branch agencies. Now, why do I think this new entity is needed? The first reason is that the staff of state agencies are generally not trained in the drafting of regulations. While some of the larger agencies and departments do have attorneys on staff, there should be a central group of attorneys who are trained in drafting and who can insist and ensure that there's clarity and consistency in regulatory drafting. The need for specialized drafting attorneys is borne out by the fact that the number one reason for the Office of Administrative Law rejecting regulations is based on the lack of clarity of those regulations. The lack of clarity can generally be addressed by good drafting attorneys. While the attorneys at OLC specialize in drafting statutes for the legislature, California's 200 plus rulemaking entities also need attorneys in the same way, those who specialize in drafting regulations. The second reason is considering the volume of regulations being proposed every year, which is 600 to 700 per year, there should be a centralized location of attorneys trained to draft this regulatory language. Just like the Office of Legislative Counsel has developed an outstanding team of legislative attorneys, drafting attorneys, the executive branch needs a team of regulatory attorneys to draft the language of regulations, as well as assist rulemaking entities in the preparation of the documents that accompany these regulations. This new Office of Regulatory Counsel could attract top-notch drafting attorneys, just like the Office of Legislative Counsel, with this office's focus on drafting hundreds of regulations each year. Hopefully the governor and legislature will give some serious consideration to creating this new office during the upcoming 2024 California legislative session.